2022. Yeah, April. Things are going to start speeding up if they're not already going fast enough. So I'm Sandy Rueve with Intention Beads, along with my friend and also astrologer.
Hi, Susan Gidel here in Chicago, focusing on financial things, all things astrology, financial. So
Yes. And so I'm actually in Kentucky, just putting my son and his wife into their new home. So that's why I'm in a new location. But we're going to, Susan, we can chat a little bit about, March and then what we're coming up into April. We're going to start with April 1st here in a minute, because there's a lot going on. And don't you know that Mercury, the planet of communication and travel, the planet of the messenger, if you will, moves into Aries on Sunday, tomorrow, the 27th of March, and that's why April will start speeding. He's making a lot of contacts, and we're going to get you all that information. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the Jupiter Neptune conjunction that is happening in April. This is the big transit that all astrologers are watching for 2022. This is the big one. This hasn't happened here in Pisces for 166 years. It's literally 1856. Yes, 1856 is the last time these two planets, Jupiter, the traditional ruler of Pisces, and the modern ruler of Pisces, Neptune, are conjunct in the sign of Pisces. So we won't get this again for another 166 years. So we're going to talk more about that, but this is the big one, and it's happening in a couple weeks.
and we're going to do a webinar about it in a couple weeks on April 13th.
In addition, Intention Beads is hosting a talisman making webinar on April 9th. So there are two things. We're having something together that's an hour with the slide presentation. And then I'm having a separate where I'm making a talisman bead for everyone with setting your affirmation with a particular intention and sending you individual, personable. I do a little video for your individual chart on what you can expect this to do, along with some papers that give you dates for your specific natal chart. Okay, now as everybody's gathered, tell us where you're from. Who's here?
We had snowflakes this morning, Sandy.
Yikes. I mean, it's chilly here, but I'm further south.
Yes, you are.
Vicky's here. Hey, Vicky. I bet things are coming up right there in Galena. I bet you're seeing certain beautiful new aspects of spring. Claudia's here from Germany. Guten Tag. Yeah, Deb is here from Indian Head, Illinois. Corey's from Oregon. Well, good. And hopefully we'll have some questions at the end, but if you have any questions or Sunny, good. Oh, Sheila's here from, not Sunny from Charleston, but Sheila from sunny Charleston. If you need any refresh of anything, just put it in the box and Alex or I or Susan will answer. Don't forget, if you haven't gotten the cheat sheet, that is available. Shelly's here. The cheat sheet for April is $10, and Susan and I go through every single, it's about 6 to 7 pages long. It's really worth it. It's a PDF. You would print it. You would put it in your calendar, alongside your calendar, and watch for the mundane astrology. It's mundane means for the world and what's happening in the cosmos, and how you can maybe attach it to your personal chart, because we give you the degrees and we give you the signs. So it's a really nice tool for learning. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually this month it's 9 pages because of all this Mercury stuff that's going on. Mercury's making a lot of connections in April. Oh.
and in the sign of Aries, which is like super speed, like you might have to kind of slow some people down because you're not picking up as fast as they're laying down, or the opposite. You're picking up faster than they're laying down. So there you go. Jane's here. Hey, hey. Okay, so you've got something.
Talk about your music thing that you did in this, Sandy. All your music stuff that you did.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. So this, for those who have the cheat sheet, you're going to notice about halfway down, I was writing, this is one of, I don't know, Susan, this is one of my favorite things to do for the month ahead. And thank you for everybody asking for this, because it really has set my, a really nice picture of what's coming up in the next month. So while I was writing, I'm like, you know what, I need to listen to music. We're in Pisces season music. I haven't really turned it on. And I was inspired by, when I called one of these, a mental leg up. And I thought, leg up. John Cougar Mellencamp sang a song, Get a Leg Up. And I remember dancing to it in the 80s. And I put it on, and it gave me such inspiration. And then the next song was his new album. And then what I was writing, the aspects that I was writing, he was singing automatically. It was not, I was not searching for a song. It just showed up while I was writing. And I thought, I have to include this. So I do have, and then it ended, and then it popped to Tequila Sunrise on a day when the sun was doing something. And it was like, oh my God, this is divine musical inspiration that is coming to me, and I needed to let you guys know. So on these dates, when you get to those dates, turn the music on. It is the theme for that day. So kind of like that, once I got inspired to write how the month equated to the fairy tale Rapunzel.
Oh yeah.
How the entire month was telling a story of Rapunzel. And so I added that in here. So my little creative self is just going.
You're such a Pisces.
Yeah, I'm such a Pisces. Yeah. Lots of hearts are on the screen. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a good thing that they like.
A good thing. I thought maybe you couldn't see us because there's hearts flipping away. Okay. Anyway, so that was my little add-on Pisces energy with, Jupiter in Pisces. So all you Pisces, or anyone that has planets in Pisces, or sensitive points for, which would be the ascendant, or the midheaven, or any of the angles. Pay attention to this Jupiter in Pisces. We only have it for another 6 weeks.
And even water signs, because it'll be trining all the water signs.
All right, we ready?
Yep. Let's hit it.
All right, Susan, do you want to talk about what you're doing with Bitcoin?
Oh yeah. We'll get there when we get there too. Okay. But Easter Sunday, I'm doing a webinar for the ESAR Star Club about Bitcoin. I finally decided that, this is so weird for astrologers to know the exact date and the exact time, but not the exact location. It's usually you've got the date and the location, but not the time. Bitcoin is weird that way. And so I decided there surely must be enough stuff having happened. It's been through a full Jupiter cycle, to try and figure out a location. Mm-hmm. And so I've been looking at that. I've still got a little more work to do on it, but I'm going to present that to the ESAR Star Club on Easter Sunday at 2:00 Central Time.
Congratulations. I mean, I am a ESAR member, as are you. ISAR stands for International Society of Astrological Research. It is, it's a very affordable membership. Yeah. And every month they do a focused astrologer for 4 hours, the 4-hour one?
No, it's okay. Just an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Some of them do an hour, 4 hours.
4 hours, yeah.
But certainly something to tune into. Yeah.
And they're free if you join ESAR. And like you say, and it's not very much for an annual membership.
Yeah, and they do this all year long,
Yeah.
all the time. There's always something to check out. Okay. All right, ready? All right,
Okay.
let's get your
Friday,
pencils
April 1.
sharpened. Yeah.
New moon in Aries. So my note on it is don't be a fool, set bold intentions, but it would be fun to do a really aggressive April Fool's joke. Don't you think?
I tried it once. It went sour, but it's a
Uh-oh.
good story. It lends to a good story. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
New moon, this is at 11 degrees of Aries. And remember, we have to think about that tomorrow. So we've got Mercury in Aries as well. So we got the moon, the sun, and Mercury in Aries. And this new moon is at 1:24 a.m. Of course, we're going to be giving all of Central daylight time. And this is my vision boarding. This is high energy. This is always the time period. We do new moons and we set intentions and we plant seeds, at every new moon. This one, Carol Rushman, bless her soul, was at the time when I was studying a lot of astrology, was the new moon vision boarding queen. And she wrote books on it. And she always said this one, the first new moon of the astrological year, which would be the new moon in Aries, is the time to make a vision board.
Oh, really?
The time. And when I had my location, that's what we would do on this new moon. So set your images now to grow that last a long time, right? Because this is not just a month. This could be the entire year. So very high energy, cut out your images, draw your images, put them in your daydream section of your brain, and vision an image. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, be bold about it. It's Aries. Push yourself to have that intention be something that kind of stretches you, and is very goal oriented and leadership oriented.
Yeah. I like that. Very courageous. And if we think about Aries and we think about the symbol of Aries, it's the headbutt, right? It's the ram. So headbutt forward. You can get through some really hard spots that you think you may not have with that. And this is Friday, April 1st. Starts our month. April Fools. All right, let's pop to Saturday the 2nd. And if you have a cheat sheet, you're going to follow us very easily. And you're going to write notes in the cheat sheet on the side where Alex put the note area. Okay, Saturday the 2nd, we have the Cazimi. This is a superior Cazimi of the Sun conjunct Mercury. This is at 13 Aries. Now, it's a superior conjunction. Mercury is not retrograde. For every Cazimi retrograde, we get a non-retrograde Cazimi when the sun goes into the heart, or the Mercury goes into the heart of the sun. So understanding the cause of pain or wound, be clear about the solution to the problem. There is no shadow period when we talk about a non-retrograde placement, no shadow. He is now occidental, meaning he comes up after the sun, and then which means he goes down after the sun sets. So pretty soon after this date, we're going to start to be able to see Mercury in the night sky after the sun sets. We'll be able to see Mercury because he's moving from that morning placement to the evening placement, which is from Oriental to Occidental.
So the Cazimi period is on Saturday, April 2, starts at 11:36 a.m. Central and goes all day until just after midnight on Sunday, 12:32 a.m. So you've got a good 12 hours on Saturday to where Mercury is in the heart of the sun, and it's like opening the veil into incredible intuition and brilliant ideas, because Mercury is quite energized when it's in the heart of the sun like that. So you set your intention the day before. I think the next day, while Mercury is cazimi the sun, is when you can fill in with some more, oh my God, I could do this and that, and even that. Here, let me try this. Write them all down. You know, you could just get a big download and welcome that in and sort them out later. Just let them roll.
I'm going to add to that because the new moon that we just talked about, the new moon of the vision boarding, that's at 1:24 a.m. And if you do it earlier than that, right, then that seems to, that's not a new moon yet. It's just a balsamic moon. It's the no light moon, where versus you want to do it when it's gaining. So, you know, Friday at 1:24 means you have all day Friday, like you mentioned, all day Friday. And again, I know Dan Spiller, she is also the new moon queen of setting intentions. And she always has said 72 hours after a new moon. So if you even decided to wait until the Saturday, right, to do your vision boarding, you know, go get all your supplies because you need scissors and glue sticks and magazines or color. And always, one last thing I forgot is Carol Rushman, the vision boarding new moon lady, is always put your picture in the middle of the poster board and choose a color of the poster board depicting what kind of energy you want. So if you want, you know, action energy, you're going to get a red poster board. If you're going to get, if you want, you know, Venus energy, you're going to do a green, you know, love, connections, money. Jupiter, purple. I don't know how many people will be getting a black poster board that would represent Saturn.
Oh, Saturn.
He's my time lord, so I gotta love him. So if you do have Saturn, and I know some of you do, you may want to get a black board so that you're honoring Saturn, right? All Saturn wants is to be recognized. All these planets need to be recognized on their special days. So, and Saturday is Saturn's day.
Saturday.
So, you know, I like this day to also do the vision board. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We have 2 days down and we're 17 minutes in. Okay. Let's go.
we gotta move.
Okay.
Okay. Monday the 4th. Mars conjunct Saturn in Aquarius at 22 degrees. And I've got actually a lot to say about the 4th of April beyond my notes about that could just be that you're just damn busy. Too much stuff going on and kind of harried. Too much energy butting up against trying to be not so harried. But two things about Mars conjunct Saturn. The first, about the markets. I can't remember who now, but I had it in my notes from before. Watches, in particular, Mars conjunct Saturn to be really bearish for the stock market. The last time they were exactly conjunct was in July of 2008 in Virgo. And by November, a few months later, the stock market had fallen 43%. This is in the middle of the, at the start of the financial crisis of 2008. So I'm going to watch for that. And then second, April 4th, this is when Uranus crosses the Ukraine's 4th house cusp for the third and final time. So something about a change of homeland for Ukraine is coming to resolution with Uranus crossing the IC that day. And hopefully that means that there's some sort of de-escalation. That's what I'm hoping that that means, is that Russia starts to back off after, for whatever reason. Maybe they've taken it over completely. Maybe they're getting defeated. Either way, I'm hopeful that with this last pass of Uranus across Ukraine's IC on the 4th of April, that there could be some sort of calming down. But Mars is conjunct Saturn. So
yeah, I mean, I've got a lot to say about this too, because these are the two malefics. Let's just be real clear here. Two malefics meet up. They're meeting up in an air sign. The last time they met up was April 1st of 2020, because Mars is a 2-year cycle. He would come up and meet Saturn every 2 years. This was April 1st, and it was at 0 degrees of Aquarius. Now, does that sound familiar? 0 degrees of Aquarius, right, Susan? That's the hot spot. That's the new hot spot since Jupiter and Saturn moved in December of 2020. Yeah. That now those two moved in December 2020 and created that new 200-ish year air economy theme for our next 200-ish years. And then Venus and Mars moved together at 0 Aquarius. Again, sounds like, because it is like, and that happened on March 7th of 2022. And here come the two malefics at 22 degrees. But this is also that kind of that recognition reminder that Aquarius is really inside. And I call this grind inside boundaries. It's kind of like breaking this down. Let's break this down. Grind, right? What does that mean? Power through, friction to sharpen, boundaries. What does that mean? Within self, within home, within family, within some sort of constraints, in a relationship, a project, work associates, friends, any of that. So Mars has some managerial focus at 22 degrees here because he's in his bounds. So Mars has some power, but Saturn carries all the power, right? Because he's the ruler of Aquarius. So Mars has to come through and go, okay, let's have this little conversation. So really here's what I suggest. Work alone today on this day, Monday the 4th, and do it tomorrow as well, because Saturn will stay at this degree for really a 24, 2 days, 24 plus 24 hours. If you work alone, you're going to be able to smooth through. If you're working with project and team, it's Monday, you can have a little bit of irritation and frustration. Things aren't moving in your direction. You're getting the big,
yeah, and probably not an ideal day to have some big meeting that you want to push your agenda. Unless you're the boss, then you could do it.
Yeah, and this doesn't come back around. These two don't meet up again until April of 2024. So, do what it's asking us to do here, because these two only meet up once every 2-ish years. So again, what do you need to get done in your box, basically? Yeah. All right, let's go. Tuesday the 5th. This, oh my God, it's not my favorite day, but I could love
better.
Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, and art and relationships. And Susan
and money.
Venus moves into her exaltation in Pisces, and she arrives as an honored guest. So it means that there's more well-mannered gestures, there's smiles, there's thank yous, there's appreciation. Her exaltation meaning, this is the only place she's exalted, and she stays here until May 3rd. So not long enough, where she's esteemed, respected, and ranked above others, meaning the other kind of planetary placements. So if anybody comes up and meets with her, or she aspects somebody, she has this really nice honored guest appearance. And if she's your time lady for the year, hey, or holds your ascendant place or your mid angle, or if you're a Taurus or a Libra sun, you're doing great. Watch for the shifts to become more favorable for you. And that's why I say check out the talismans or get a list. Get on the list for a personal talisman. Both of the benefics now are in Pisces. And this won't happen again till 2034. You make your decision on what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Or you want to wait 12 more years.
Mm-hmm. So, and believe it or not, my note about this, Sandy, was not about money. It was about becoming more loving and compassionate. Just to use that energy to really highlight the nature of Venus.
In Pisces. Yeah, that's
Pisces,
perfect. Yeah. I love it. Thursday the 7th, Mercury is making a nice sextile to Saturn. Keep your head down or your mind on track. Now, Mercury is really, remember, he just combusted the sun. So now, or he just kazimied the sun. So now he's combust. So he's within 8.5 degrees to the sun. I mean, he's moving away, or the sun, they're moving, but he's still combust here. So, but he's back in his preferred evening position. It's the Saturn that is allowing the concentration. Saturn's allowing the self-control. Saturn's allowing the discipline. It really has a great focused solo mind. Come up one project, finish it. Get finished with it. It's nice.
Yeah. And also good for just, the week before with the new moon, the Kazemi, you've got this new idea going around. Mercury sextile Saturn is a good time to actually put it to paper. Saturn wants you to commit to it. And so write it down.
Thursday the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Friday the 8th. Let's move to that one. This is now Mercury making a sextile to Mars. Holy moly. Remember, we have to think that Mars and Saturn are conjunct, meaning they're at the same degree in the sky. So when Mercury, a faster planet, which is moving fast because it's in Aries, comes by, it's going to hit Saturn that we just talked about on the 7th. On the 8th, meets up with Mars. And today, do what you want. Do what you want today, what you want to happen tomorrow or the next day or in the future. Because this is Mercury visiting Mars's sign, right? Aries, and can witness, which means see, Mars, the ruler of. So it's nice. It's forward thinking. It's getting ahead of your game, understanding the game. Woo, right? You don't have to read these long directions. Understanding the path. Maybe it's a different one than you had anticipated. And this is where I went to the John Cougar going get a leg up, because to me, this is a mental leg up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And, like we said at the beginning, Mercury is like really rocking and rolling through April. And this is an example of it. Sextile Saturn on Thursday, writing the plan down. Sextile Mars on Friday. Okay, you've got to do it now. There's no sitting around waiting for this to have that plan fester in your mind, or, let me think about it. It's like, write it down, do it the next day. Go, girl.
As I write here in my notes, keep your head straight ahead. Don't be shy. Don't be hasty making judgments where you could be wrong, but don't be shy. That's John Mellencamp's words.
Yeah.
Or get a leg up.
Cool.
All right. Sunday the 10th.
Wait, Saturday the 9th. Talk about your.
Oh, yeah. So Saturday the 9th is the Jupiter conjunct Neptune talisman webinar. That's up on the website. Alex, maybe put a little thing in here. This is starting at 10:44 a.m. We're going to grab the moon, making a really nice trine aspect. The moon will be in Cancer, coming up over the horizon, making a trine to the Jupiter Neptune up in the 10th house as the ruler of. couldn't be better for a talisman ceremony, and it's not 3 o'clock in the morning. So you have a choice of the add a bead to the necklace, the add a bead to the bracelet, or the charm. And again, sign up for that. We just put that up online yesterday, and that is April 9th in the morning. And it'll be recorded, so you don't have to be there, remember. And I think I may be having one other talisman ceremony this year, but this is the big one. This is the big one.
Cool. So Sunday, April 10th, Mercury in Aries is squaring Pluto in Capricorn at 28 degrees. And fortunately, it's Sunday. And so this plan that you've written down, the plan that you took action on Friday, maybe not distribute it yet, because to me, this is like, there's some power players in the mix that don't like your plan or have some issues with it. So don't distribute it yet. Unfortunately, this is on Sunday and it will be waning by Monday. So keep it to yourself until Monday.
Yeah, because to me, this brings out what is hidden. Mercury now is out of combustion. He's moving far enough away from the sun, but he's still under the beams. So compulsive thoughts, forced words, yet it's really good to study. It's really good to study magical subjects or the occult. So funny. Guess what song came on next? The Man That Worries. Right, Susan, how funny is that?
Yeah.
I am a man that worries, so get out of my way. Words I'm hearing never gonna go away. How right is this Mercury square Pluto?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, you might worry about something that these thoughts may never go away, but it's almost like stay tuned into something so that you can get to the bottom of it. And maybe you can clear up one thing that is worrying you.
Mm-hmm. Good idea.
Yeah.
So later that day on Sunday, the 10th, Mercury moves into Taurus. So it's done with Aries. It's done with its hurry up and do something kind of thing. Now it slows down. Mercury in Taurus goes, okay, all that hustle bustle is a little over now. And now I'm ready to make regular, steady messaging, calmness in my words, calmness in my planning.
Yeah, mental mind slows pace. Absolutely. Methinks it's time to integrate all those ideas, thoughts, conversations to a slower pace to see if any of them will work.
Yeah.
Right. We can have great ideation, but when we start putting them, when we start walking with them, which ones do we have to let go? Which ones have value? Those issues or subjects that matters that have come forward since March 27th, when this Mercury went into Aries. But now for the next 3 weeks, you can engage any of them. Are they worth your time? Take this time to focus on them, because next up, Mercury will leave Taurus, move into his home sign of Gemini, and maybe then this agreement, this contract, ink your signature on April 30th, which is where he will retrograde. Mercury will retrograde in his own sign of the air sign of Gemini. So you'll have more time to review what you have almost decided, what will work, what will not work. You'll have more time, but see what is worth it, because you may not be able to walk with all those once Mercury gets to Gemini and he retrogrades. So
Yeah.
Find out in this next 3 weeks from Sunday the 10th for 3 weeks, whatever that date is, what's worthy, what is really workable.
And worthy is a good word for Taurus, because Taurus wants us to find for ourselves what we value, what makes us comfortable, what is valuable to us, because it's ruled by Venus. So you're exactly right with calling it worthy.
Yeah. All right. You ready for the biggest, the
Yeah.
strongest week? This is the busiest week of April.
the second week of April.
Yeah, the 11th through the 17th in my view.
Yeah.
All right, Tuesday the 12th. This is it. This is Jupiter conjuncting Neptune. I look like a Neptune sign here with my head, right? I'm seeing myself there. Both rulers are together again. Hey, granted that they meet up every 13 years, right? Jupiter's a 12-year sign. So by the time the 12 years comes along, Neptune is most probably moved into the next sign. Regardless, they meet up every 13 years. But in Pisces, not since 1856, and not for another 166 years at that. So this is the astro interesting transit aspect of 2022. You know, I know we don't have time to do some of the research. I'll talk about that on my podcast, on my webinar, my talisman webinar that I'll be holding. Just going back to 1856, I Googled some of the things that were happening. Unbelievable. The disillusion of borders, unbelievable. I'll talk about that since we don't have to. And guess what song came on? Wasted Days. Watch your life fade away to more wasted days. How many promises are met? Who was worth our time?
So believe it or not, even though it's like you say, the biggest transit of the year of this year, Jupiter conjunct Neptune in Pisces, it's still not our favorite day. We got a better one at the end of the month.
It only lasts one day.
Yeah. But here's where I do go into financial astrologer mode with Jupiter conjunct Pisces. And I think it can indicate an expansion of inflation. Jupiter expands, Neptune rules inflation. So this could be potentially a peak in inflation that we've been seeing. It also, in Jupiter in hard aspect to Neptune, can be a signature of recession beginning. So once again, this spring time frame, if you know, you could imagine, okay, well, so if inflation, both of those things could happen at the same time, because for recession to begin, you may have to clamp down more on inflation than we have been. And so around this time, and it could be technically in the month of April, although you often, if for recession, you don't know for months afterwards, usually, about when the, what is it, NBER, National Board of Economic Review, decides when there's a recession. We might not know until fall or later. But anyway, Jupiter conjunct Neptune could be a shift economically in April, May. I mean, it's a big transit, so give it some time.
And luckily, it's not, Jupiter is not making a retrograde placement now. So we're not getting 3 hits of this. We're getting 1 hit of it, which to me sounds more about, you know, crossing past, passing it, hanging out for just a bit and moving on. It doesn't sound like we have to review it, you know, multiple months.
Yeah.
Right.
And it also could be, and we've talked about this before, about COVID. You know, Neptune is the pharmaceutical ruler, and Jupiter is the benefic. It could be that, you know, there's really great news about a way to control COVID on an ongoing basis. And just generically, a sense of worldwide compassion that is available to everyone on the planet.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this because you brought it up. When we say dual, like the duality, we could get inflation in a recession. We could get this with the COVID, this really good news, but we can also get this, you know, another peak of you know, COVID occurring, because this is, you know, these 2 planets want to dissolve boundaries, right? And they want to expand and extend. So, you know, it's kind of like what I wrote here. It's like thinking about both sides of whatever polarity subject you're thinking about. Of course, we're in Pisces, so I'm thinking about crying. Well, not actively right now. I've already taken care of that yesterday. But when we cry when we're sad, we cry when we're happy. There's those two polarities. So, but what you do when you cry is you recognize what you care about most. Where is your compassion, right? You just said healing. You can ask for something here and receive. Ask for that wave of dissolution, the wave of forgiveness, the wave of spiritual washing. And it's crying and being in water. We have to then say the other polarity. Sorry, Alex, I'm surprised I'm not getting any text messages going, stop talking, Mom. But this is a big one. And it's to the other polarity side of it as, disillusion, illusion, deceit, fraud, conspiracy theories. What do we believe? I don't know. There's so much out there to believe. But the main thing for this is believe in yourself. Believe in yourself.
And we'll go more in depth on all of those tenets the next day, Wednesday, April 18, webinar, 5:30 Central, about the Jupiter conjunct Neptune. But before we get to our webinar, also on Tuesday with Jupiter conjunct Neptune is the Sun in Aries sextile Saturn in Aquarius. The Sun is exalted in Aries, Saturn is in its rulership in Aquarius. And so this is a great day for in the mundane world, or even your own as a leader of anything. Leaders, Sun in Aries, taking the opportunity, sextile, to be creative in new rules, new structures, Saturn in Aquarius. And with Jupiter conjunct Neptune on the same day, hopefully that is in a way that encompasses that compassion that conjunction provides.
And this is really interesting. I call this strong forces. We have to think about the Sun as in Aries. Well, Saturn making this beautiful sextile, which happens twice a year, but the Sun making sextile to Saturn. Saturn's in his own sign, but interesting here, the Sun in Aries is Saturn's fall, right? And I look at the stuff, and Saturn is in the Sun's detriment. So in this placement, it's like they both have good sense, but they're not powerful in the other area. So it makes me think that you really need these two, whoever comes together here really needs to believe in each other with total vulnerability in order to make something happen. And I've got some dates here, May 15th and June 16th, where we really may see, and we'll get to that in the May and the June period. But I wanted to mention this here. So write down what happens to you around the 12th of this April, because that comes back up for a disagreement May 15th, and then an agreement in June 16th. I'll explain later. Susan, is an explain and describe combination of my Mercury Pisces. Thank you very much. I just made up a word. All right, go on. Let's move.
My husband makes up words all the time. So Thursday, April 14, Mars moves into Pisces. Mars just doesn't like Pisces. This is like, I described it as to make forward progress, it has to put on those big flipper fins to move through the water, because it's trying to go through, it's swimming underwater to try and move forward. And you don't get very far when you're swimming underwater without those big fins.
Yeah. So Mars goes into Pisces. I write night charts rejoice. So if you're using sect, a day sect chart, night sect chart, all night charts, meaning the sun is below the horizon, the moment you were born, because this is the triplicity ruler. Mars is the triplicity ruler for Pisces, or any water sign, actually. So the action manager, it can be in harmony with others for anybody that has a night chart. But us day chart people, me included, day chart is not as action packed. So be aware of victimization or the savior sainthood that's inside of you. So lean toward your intuition here. The song that came on exactly as I was writing it, it's called Chasing Rainbows. How crazy is that? Mars in Pisces. Chasing Rainbows.
Okay. I'm the night chart person, so
yeah, good. And one of the lines in this song is "Lie to me, I'm used to it." Anyway, full moon. That's why I really want you. I won't say everything I wrote here. That is the words because I know we don't have time. But on these days, listen to those songs, and you did get them free on Spotify. All right, Saturday the 16th. We're full moon. Full moon. We're not quite to the eclipses yet, but they're coming. Full moon at 26 degrees of Libra. This is at 1:55 p.m. in arrange an intense union. We've got the ruler of the sun, which is in Aries. What rules Aries? Mars is making a opposition to the moon in Libra. What's the ruler of Libra? Venus. And Mars and Venus are conjunct in the sky. So, this whole period is they're kind of moving together. Mars just moved into Pisces where Venus is. So to me, this is kind of releasing and forgiving. Let go of the ego. Change what is or has been between you two. And the song is A Life Full of Rain.
And with the moon in Libra, full moon in Libra, I like to think of it as that the focus is on peace, that peace is revealed, that there is light being shown on peace.
Sunday the 17th, we have Easter, and we've got two aspects going on here. Mercury sextiling Venus. She has the first and the last word. Venus can get straight to the discussion topic of love and happiness.
And for me, this is looking for messages of healing. Now this is, and later in the day, Mercury is conjunct Uranus in Taurus. So surprising messages later that night. And I think the potential for big overnight trading volatility after a long weekend because the markets are closed on Good Friday. So pay attention to that. But also, I think it's a good day to listen to my ESAR talk about Bitcoin.
Let's do that. In fact, Mercury here is out of the beams from the sun, completely out of the cazimi, out of the combustion, and then from under the beams of the sun. And this news today is super, super important. And Susan's talking, super, super important. But this may reveal what has been in discussion for weeks or maybe even months. This is fast and changing, even though they're in fixed Earth, which is very slow. But now that it's the planet of communication, meeting up with the planet of quick, hurried up change, maybe chaotic, but just super exciting as well. And this is the day that, which is Easter, and all of a sudden my Spotify changed to Tequila Sunrise song on Easter. How hilarious. Okay.
So get your tequila out, ready to roll.
All right, next page, Monday the 18th. This is Venus making a sextile to Uranus. And this is a need a break from boring. Okay, here's your day. This is my, and besides, Monday is my favorite day of every week. I was born on a Monday. Let this be a peaceful, cohesive, and pure environment that you're creating.
And this is the day that taxes are due. So Venus sextile Uranus, there could be money surprises with your taxes that are filed. So That's the financial spin on that. Also on Monday, the 18th, the sun is square Pluto exactly at 10 in the morning. And so that to me says that there is in the mundane world, a leader or leaders, the sun in Aries is squaring off against some sort of collective power. And once again, we could make up a lot of stories about how that could be playing out between now and then.
Yeah, this is my
Watch
conflict.
for that energy.
Yeah, this is my conflict day number one. I call it a this versus a that. A conflict arises that has this aspect for a forced hard look. It could even be a come to Jesus conversation that you have with somebody. Something that's much needed needs to be, the light needs to be shown on it.
Yeah.
This is a conflict day. Tuesday the 19th, the sun moves into the next sign of Taurus. Centered and grounded, slow and steady, rich and sustaining, breathe and stretch.
And my note about it is to join Ferdinand the Bull in smelling the flowers.
Yeah, this is nice. But the sun moves from Aries, where he's exalted, into Taurus, that is way, again, slower paced. Yeah. All right, Sunday the 24th, Mercury, man, he moving.
Yeah.
And that's what he's supposed to do. And Mercury squaring Saturn, and this is stuck or void. This is my conflict day number 2. I only have 2 conflict days this month. Totally interested in one subject, one thought, one idea, or not interested at all. I don't care about it. I'm not interested. But maybe that one thing should be researched on your own. Don't take others' word as is.
And I think it's the day to go back to remember early April, Mercury sextile Saturn on the 7th, Mercury sextile Mars on the 8th. Go back to those plans that you had to like hurry up and write down, and then do something about. When Mercury comes up to square Saturn now on the 24th, go back to that and check your assumptions. See what needs to be twisted or revised a little bit.
That same day, Mercury now is making this sextile aspect to Neptune. And I wrote piggyback on the earlier day, piggyback on that Saturn, because using today's one thing, create something, be a magician, make it up. It comes easy that way. Or just void the day, rest and wonder. Alice, where are you headed? Can I come? And what crazy things are you seeing, Alice? Can I go with you? Well, it's right. It's Neptune. Whatever, man. Yeah.
And good, it's on a Sunday.
Yeah, good, it's Sunday. Yeah.
Ditto. Right. I'm like relaxing and imagining whatever the practical solution.
Hey, Alex, this is our last week. Type in here. Do we have? We're going to be going over just a little bit. Is that okay with everybody?
Not too much. We can make it.
Okay, Wednesday the 27th. Here's Mercury again, making a sextile to Jupiter. Strengthen your beliefs and then express them. Put into words, put them out into the air, put them down onto paper. Use your language of choice. Be clear about your future. Align what your vision board and belief in yourself is. And the song that came in was Make It Better. Making it together is even though the weather, right? Making it together, even though the weather. I really like that. Strengthen your beliefs.
Mm-hmm. And mine was rejoice in getting the big answer, where Jupiter in Pisces in its own sign is going to help Mercury go, oh, good, that works. So
the same day, we're still on the 27th. Mercury enters shadow this day. Mercury is not retrograde, but he is entering a shadow on the 27th of April, does not come out of shadow until June 18th. So just note that. He's not retrograde, but he's in shadow. Also that day, the 27th, Venus is conjunct Neptune. Spiritual love. You know if you have it, and you know if you don't have it. Today, you can try to define what it is for you, but by a simple technique. By feeling what is behind your closed eyes. Watch your favorite love story. And mine is Eat, Pray, Love. The love of self attracts the love of another self.
And I like Venus conjunct Neptune in Pisces as a day to bookmark for making charitable donations. Give money, spend money on things that matter to you. Because once again, Venus is exalted in Pisces, conjunct the co-ruler of Pisces, Neptune. Money wants to do good work on this day.
Yeah.
And then Mercury moves into Gemini. And like you say,
hold on. We still have something on Thursday. We have the Mercury trine Pluto. Mercury's trining Pluto on.
I'm following the sheet here that maybe it's got messed up.
On Thursday, the 28th. Oh, did we miss it? No, Mercury's here. Mercury on the 28th.
Right. This is the 29th.
Mercury trine Pluto.
Oh, enter the shadow part. Sorry. I misread my cheat sheet.
Mercury trining Pluto, dig for gold.
Yeah.
This right here is where Pluto is stationing, meaning Pluto will be the first planet in the outers, superior and outer planets, to make his retrograde movement. And he's stationing at this point on the 28th. And this is the last contact with the planet while he is still direct. And so for me, this is very, very important. I always look at these, and I also look at that when I'm looking at a natal chart, is what is the aspect, the next aspect after a planet comes out of retrograde. I always look at those two things, but this is using your sharp spade. So dig. You will find parts of your story, parts of your subject line. Those are easy to face. You can find yourself. Also write down May 26th. I'll talk about something. We're going to tie this date of April 28th to May 26th, and we're going to tie it again to June 11th. Watch those dates, put those in. We're going to tie those together. And the song that came on was To Last, which certainly is a Mercury Pluto aspect.
Yeah. And Thursday, the 28th, with Mercury trine Pluto, this is the day to pitch your big idea. If you've got big meeting, big muckety mucks that you need to present to, April 28th would be a good day to do that. Go slow and sure, have the plan set out, and you could make a good impression, I think, on the 28th.
In the song, again, find self, find your heart and soul, standing still, nothing's breaking except the will, find the source. These are the words of the song that came in as I'm writing, find the parts of the story, dig deep, you'll find gold. Mm-hmm. Okay, Friday the 28th.
And the other reason to pitch on the 28th is because it's the last day that all the planets are moving forward for the year. Because the next day, Pluto goes retrograde in Capricorn on Friday, April 29th.
Yep.
And so I don't have the date for when it comes back out, but it's several months.
Till October.
Yeah. And so, all the big power players are in review mode now, both business and government. They aren't moving forward. They're taking stock of, okay, what has just happened in the last few weeks here with Mercury and all this new idea stuff going on. We have to think about this. And that starts April 29th.
Yeah. And if you have any planets, particularly the personal planets, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, at 28 degrees Capricorn, all the way back to 26 degrees of Capricorn. It's these 2 degrees that Pluto will be now venturing back over for the second time in our life. So if you have planets there, very important to review that. It's Pluto. Pluto will want to change. So what you do, you let go of the windowsill and let it fall. You will be caught at the end. You feel you won't. Also that day, Mercury moves into ingress, moves into the next sign, which is his sign, Gemini. So to me,
Yay.
This is got to get going. You know, this is home. He's happy, excited, and a bit flirty.
And, you know, Mercury's just happy in Gemini. And so this is when it comes out of the calmness of Taurus and gets back into its, okay, I guess I'm back on the job. I have to actually do things, send messages, bring messages back and forth. I'm back on it. So ideas sharpen up, your mind sharpens up, things start flowing again mentally.
Then Saturday the 30th, ding, 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 ding. This is a big
Our
day.
favorite day.
Okay, this is the beginning of the eclipse season. All right, this is a new moon. So the moon is meeting up with the sun at the same degree, which is 10 degrees of Taurus, which is called the solar eclipse. The sun is, Alex, go ahead and put the chart up. We want to show, this is our chart of the month. But before we point this out, well, you can point the sun, the moon out. This is it's a partial eclipse. This happens at 3:28 p.m. All this information is all on the cheat sheet. But it's conjunct Uranus. Look at the Uranus up there in the 8th house. We got the sun and the moon, and they're moving toward the planet Uranus. So to me, this is strength and security, progress, and finances. The Uranus part can up that load, up that more of a little bit of excitement, and maybe a little bit of change is going on. The weather prediction here looks a little erratic. Would you say?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I think it's in Taurus, it's about accepting commitments and taking responsibility. Once again, from that's the eclipse delineation is that the eclipse itself is about accepting commitments and taking responsibility. And you know, a new moon in Taurus certainly reflects that. Particularly,
we're getting a little bit of a lag on the internet
finances
here.
Yeah,
I wonder if we're up over our time. We are, but you kind of cut out there a little bit. But I want to just, it's my connection that's unstable. I'll be quiet here. Oh, it just came off. I want to also point out that this is also the day. Why it's my favorite day is because we got the Venus conjunct Jupiter. This is for the win. This is like for the win. This is you get a 10 here on whatever it is you're doing. It's very interesting too that this first eclipse is in Taurus, ruled by Venus. Venus is in her exaltation, meeting up with the ruler. Alex, can you circle in the 7th house? We got the 27 degrees of the Venus and the Jupiter conjuncting one another. This is why it's my favorite day. Anybody's birthday who is March 15th. Wow, wow, wow. Happy birthday to you. This will be a birthday that is beyond all birthdays. So make it that way. Make it that way.
Mm-hmm. And it's my favorite day too, because of the Jupiter Venus conjunction in Pisces. Venus exalted, Jupiter ruler, together in any sign says big money, almost literally. But when they are in their exaltation and rulership, I mean, seriously, it doesn't get better than this for money issues. It does not. The last time they were together in Pisces like this in such strong positions, both Venus and Jupiter, was in February of 2010. So this is a, once every 12-year kind of event from a money perspective. And also remember that this eclipse is connected to the lunar eclipse in mid-May at the full moon. So yeah, my favorite day. Easy one. Jupiter and Venus conjunct in Pisces, plus an eclipse.
Plus the ruler of the eclipse is Venus.
It's Venus. Yeah.
And at the exact time in the 7th house and an angle house. Come
Yeah.
on. Well, and what song came on automatically? I love Satsang. If anybody knows the band Satsang, you'll be hearing they're kind of buddies of ours now. We love them so much. They only sing about positive, focused energy, but real life stuff. And they will be they're singing for our opening, our intro and our outro of our podcast. So I'm just kind of talking about them now. And the song that came up when I was writing this, Susan, Grow. Here's the words: singing my songs, no man alive can make me feel poor. Everything is an opportunity to grow, and you can too. I've got air, water, and love. If you need a hand, I've got you.
Perfect.
Wow. I kind of want to leave you with that. I got goosebumps right now.
And on April 30th, it's when we're going to do this again for our May outlook. So a really lovely day. Join us on our favorite day next month to talk about our May outlook.
Oh, maybe I'll be on a beach dancing in a non-bathing suit. Which means like no bathing suit. That's not what I meant.
Oh.
No, it's not what I meant. All of a sudden I got the picture like non-bathing suit. Oh no, that's not, like, at least bathing suit is clothes. I will be wearing clothes, maybe dancing on a beach.
Okay.
Anyway, want to sign off here. I know this was a long-winded because Mercury is in Aries, so get ready. So what you can do the next couple, this weekend, we're on Saturday. What fray ends do you need to burn off or cut off that would make you trip as you are running down the hallway? That little fringe on the end, or shoes that are sitting there, or get things out of the way this weekend. So we're strong, centered, and able to move forward as you move quick with speed, not tripping.
Yep.
Don't trip up. Any questions, any comments? I know we're over. Alex, what do you want us to do? What do you want us to do, boss? No questions. All right. We'll see you.
Happy spring, everybody.
See you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.